Say hi to YouTube because this will be on YouTube later. Welcome to my top 30 list of my favorite manga. I made this list in 2022, and this was supposed to be a 2022 stream. I like to do these yearly. There'll be an anime one that happens with the guys and stuff later on. But we're gonna go through what I thought at the time when I made this list. My rankings don't actually change that much, typically speaking, and it's very rare for something new to kind of break through my like top whatever. What I can say is, um, Golden Camry is one of the things that I picked up and immediately broke into like one of my favorites. And you'll see one for my top 30. I'd actually immediately already switched my honorable mention with my 30. I'd flip them right now, but we'll go through and we'll talk about it. The 21st month of that day. All right, what? Wait, did I say 21st month? Did I really say that? It's the 20. You know what? You guys don't even know about the 24 months of the 24 months, do you? You guys are still stuck on 12. I forgot you haven't opened your mind to the sixth dimension. It's a little esoteric for y'all. You're not there. You're not on my level of like dimensional awareness, but when you get there, you'll learn there's actually 24 months in a year. That's how I'm getting out of that. All right, so we'll start with my honorable mention, which is the forgetful detective. I never know how to say this. The memorandum of Kyoko Ogitegami. All right, y'all already know I'm a Nisio Ishin stan. All right, that's Nisio Ishin. That's my guy. That's my boy. That's my goat. You know, and I thought the concept was interesting, and I was surprised to see that most of the mysteries that I went through. I actually read the manga and I watched the live action Japanese whatever. I want to say there's a light novel or something, but I never got around to that. But I have thoroughly enjoyed it. The artwork's good. It's clean. I think it's well done. And to kind of make a long story short, the kind of premise and concept is that she's like a world renowned detective, but every day her memory's kind of wiped. So she writes down clues like on her body and on the ceiling and all types of places. And generally speaking, she solves every case in one day because the next day she's not going to remember her client, the people. And there's like a message she sees every single day when she looks up at the actual ceiling. I'm not going to spoil what it says, but it's like it's like a big reveal, and you kind of understand it. And some like of us don't know if she's really a detective or like somebody's tricking her into thinking she is one. But it's a really good read, so I highly recommend it. Didn't JoJo take over One Piece? I saw you tweet that. Listen, man. I just want you gotta look at the date. Just look at all I ask is you look at the date, look at the year, and when we do 2023, things will be different. That's all I ask you to do, okay? Please look at the date. How many of the 30 do you read every year? That's actually I think it's actually a really good question. I I revisit parts of my favorite stories and manga very often. I'm at the point in my life where I'm overwhelmed by the amount of things that I could consume in any given day. So, or like just because like media and all and games and whatever. So like I tend to run back to what I know. So it's like here's 30 different image comic books that are coming out, and I'm like I'm just gonna read Monstrous again. And it's like no, you gotta watch the new Bleach and Chainsaw Man and Unga Bunga and all Undead Unlock and I'm like, what if I watch Bubblegum Crisis again for the 40th time? What if I watched Monogatari again? So like these things I revisit often. I may not revisit the manga from top to bottom, but definitely arcs and moments that I like, I will definitely reread. And if that's an anime, I might rewatch that scene pretty frequently. That's kind of the best answer I could give you. Counting on a different time scale these days. Damn. Every day that's worth an index. Gee, index is crazy, bro. Index will not end. Unga Bunga manga top one. It's up there. It's up there. You ever read Inga Dinga? Inga Dinga goes stupid. 30. My surprise, y'all. 30 surprised me. And this one is here honestly purely based off just like general enjoyment and fun, like the fun factor. I will not look you in the eye and tell you Mashal is the deepest manga that goes into the human psyche and recontextualizes what it means to create a manga and it redefines the industry. None of that corny nonsense you be hearing on Twitter. I'm not here for all that. It's funny. I laugh a lot. I like this nigga. He's hilarious. He'd be eating cream puffs. He'd be working out, and he's just dry as hell. It's funny. He's my spirit animal. Mashed Redburn. I also like the concept a little bit because it's a concept that I kind of thought about once upon a time in my life, where I'm like, the kind of idea of putting a regular person who had like superhuman physical capabilities in a supernatural or magical environment, and he keeps up because physically he's capable of doing feats that they can't do, but they can do it through magic or some other means. And I just love it. Yes, enjoyability is absolutely out. I still think it's important to like, I guess, criticize and hold things to a certain standard, but never at the cost of your own enjoyment. But I know the anime for this is coming out soon, but I'm interested in seeing it, and I actually did catch back. I'm behind again, but I did catch back up at one point. So that's all Spider. I got scared. So yeah, so that's my number 30. Number 29 will be Blade of the Immortal. Um, because there's someone who remembers the mangaka's name. It's Samura Hiroaki. Damn it, what do I remember his name? Let me look at Dialogue Elder. This will tell me. Hiraki Samura. There we go. I have to look at one of my. So I think that this mangaka does like three things highly well. Sex, violence, and women. I like violence. I like sex. I like women. What do you want from me? I think that Blade of the Immortal, probably from top to bottom, is kind of one of his better his best storytelling feat from a long term standpoint. I've read a lot of his works. Um, and I have not at all peeped the sequel that much. Like I bet like the first chapter of the sequel, I haven't really peeped that too much, but I definitely appreciate the way that like his drawing. I think could be a little bit hit or miss for some people. Not for me. I like how he draws stuff, and I think he's really good at capturing combat, especially with the women and violence. And I want to go more into that later. I guess slight spoiler. You might see another series that is from him on the list later on. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, Blade of the Immortal is a good time, man. There's a lot of iconic panels in that I could kind of remember. The premise, if I remember correctly, literally there's like a swordsman with these weird like maggots in him or something, and he's just very like he's like unkillable essentially. You can't really kill him. But he's not a bad samurai or bad swordsman. I don't necessarily think he's the strongest, but you kind of can't kill him. And he has to escort this girl somewhere. I think I don't remember why she follows him. Actually, it's been quite a while since I read this one, but there's a fight that he has with one specific person. This guy's a complete scumbag, and there's like a part in the snow when they're walking, have this battle in the snow, and there's like a hostage. Bro, it's such an elite part of the manga. It's crazy. It's so fucking tense and good. Like I love that part of the manga. So, but I won't spoil too much. We'll keep it pushing to number 28. Number 28 is Tepu. Tepu is a mixed martial arts manga. It's not very long, and it's been a while since I've thought about all of the moving parts that are outside of the narrative that relate to this story in terms of like I don't remember if the mangaka got sick or had to do something and come back and just kind of ended up ending it, so it never got to like proper care and end and like finish, like it kind of got axed in a sense if you say it had a rushed ending. But Tepu kind of covers a concept that I see often. I don't say it's like frequent, but I see it here and there enough that I don't think it's like super rare. But it's the concept of kind of like a genius versus like a hard worker, and I tend to like those kind of like prodigy genius stories, somewhat to some degree. So she's kind of like a freak athlete that kind of loses to somebody who's specifically like pretty talented or comes from a mixed martial arts background and family and tries to like beat her at that with her like overwhelming talent, and learns that like it's just not that easy, and combat sports is a complete different world. I think the fights are intense, the intensity is great. I love the impact of all the punches. I love the characters. I love her. I can't remember her name right now, but the MCs, MCs tend to not be my favorite characters. The fact that the main character is probably my favorite character was really good, and you kind of get to see like it's not just like Japanese, like there's like Brazilians and other mixed martial arts people from other places in the world, and I think it's a pretty dope story. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the ending it deserves, but I think Deadpool was really dope. It's not that long, by the way. He said, I'm here. You're awake. What's up, brother? Lost child's been found. I didn't get any notification that you were streaming. My bad. We ain't being in Tokyo though. Wait, we are basically a Ayomine versus Kisei. In a lot of ways you could say that. Yeah, actually, not a bad way of looking at it. Even though Kisei is extremely talented in his own right, by being a physical specimen who has good kinesthetic corporal skills, the ability to see something and be able to reenact it pretty much after seeing it one time, something I can relate to. Ayomine is kind of a basketball savant specifically, so he goes to the basketball realm to try to overtake him. That's a good. I like that. That made sense to me. Now that moved me tremendously. All right, let's keep it going. We got Black Lagoon. Now Black. Do you guys know my rule? Do you know my rule? I don't know how many times I spoke about my rule on here. I really wish Tapu kept going. I was really messing with it. I feel you. It hurts. It was getting me hyped. I trust me. I understand. I get it. I was really there for Tapu. Black. Um, if it doesn't come out, it's mid. There you go. You guys got it. You remember? Look at you guys. Y'all be listening. Y'all be listening. Listen, I love Black Lagoon. I've loved Black Lagoon for like a decade plus. That's the anime OVA with Roberta's Revenge. Roberta's Revenge. Um, Balalaika, my Russian queen, one of my favorite manga characters in general. I love her. She's bad. Revi's super dope. Like, bruh. It don't come out though. It doesn't come out. I can't rate it any higher because it doesn't come out. I know a chapter came out pretty recently. I don't remember what's going on. I hate that D Gray Man and Black Lagoon do this to me. Every time I get a new D Gray chapter, I'm like, what the frig happened over the last 3 years? Because I haven't seen a chapter in so long. So Black Lagoon, half the time when a new chapter comes out, I have to start the whole manga over. I'm not in the mood to do that right now, but I just wish it came out more. I think it's a great story. I love it. It's violent. I think the characters are good. The story's not anything crazy. It's kind of like criminals from all over just doing their thing, making some bread. Shout out to Rock. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. I've read the light novels too, by the way, where she's in like bondage. Is she the one where she's in bondage? You see the right picture where she's in like BDSM, sadist. We'll take a gander. Take a gander. Black Goon. You said I messed. Wait. I don't. Why the phrase "a physical specimen" sounds hella. A physical specimen's out here, bro. I messed up. A Black Lagoon was one of my first anime and it was so raw. I feel it. I ain't read the Gray Man in so long because of that. I'm just gonna have to go through it again sometimes. Exactly. Like I know when D Gray Man comes back in the chapter, I'll be like, I gotta start all over again. Because I don't want to spoil too much, but the Kanda, I think Kanda and the Alma stuff is very complicated and hard to kind of remember, I think, if I remember correctly, with that like backstory. And it like came out very fragmented. So every time I gotta do it, I'm like, I don't remember, I don't recall. This is why Hunter x Hunter mid as fuck. Talk. Let them know. They're all chilling at Togashi's house playing Dragon Quest. That's crazy. It's crazy because Dragon Quest. I tried to play that new one, and I don't even know if the game's good or bad. But I hate that music. To me, is awful. I don't like the music in Dragon Quest, and I don't want to hear that. So I don't know. Shout out to Kira Toriyama, I guess. Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles at 26. Do you guys know about Tsubasa, about Clamp? This actually still takes place in the same universe of like Cardcaptor Sakura. You might notice card captors in America with like Lee Shaoran. I actually don't remember Sakura's full name. Sakura Kina. Damn. Anyways, so I gotta like tell you the whole story. Like Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles was like Clamp was one of the first major things I got into. Rumiko Takahashi really being my first major mangaka that I recognized because I read a lot of her works immediately, starting with Ranma, which is all on my shelf. I got all 36 volumes of Ranma one half. But nice on Demon Time, I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a good mood when I'm doing my thing. Hey, but Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles. When I was younger, I called it the Kingdom Hearts of manga. God, I was such a stupid, not stupid. I was such a lame kid. Just because they went from world to world, different like dimensions, kind of thing. And I'm like, it's like Kingdom Hearts, but a manga form. When they go to different worlds. That's how simple I used to think back in the day. At one point, I ended up liking this story a lot because I feel like if I say this, it spoils such an important part of the series. But it does something with a main character I had never seen before. And I thought it was very powerful. It hit me hard. and to this day, it's like the only manga that manga for sure is the only manga I've seen do this. I can say I've seen one video game do this and a comic book do something with a facsimile of what I'm talking about. But I think the main cast is really cool because they all have their little like stipulations. Fi is the magician, a very renowned magician, and he has his own backstory. He doesn't want you to know. Kurogane, I think this is so crazy to me. This nigga is raw. He's a raw samurai, and he kills people. But every time at this point, he was cursed by like his princess or whatever, his like handler or whatever, that if he takes life, he gets physically weaker. So every time he kills somebody, he's not as strong as he used to be. So he can't go around killing folk. And then you have Lee. Lee is trying to help Sakura find her memories because Yuko the witch to give you dimensional teleportation warping power. She actually takes the thing that's the most valuable to you. And I find that very, very fascinating because it doesn't have to be a physical thing. So let's say like I'm in a marriage and the most important thing is like my relationship with my kids. She could take that from me. My kids will have no memory of who I am. That's the price I have to pay for the power to hop dimensions. And I was like, God damn, I like that. I do. So yo, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't say it. I can't. I can't. I think it's too important. It's too important. But I would definitely consider giving this a chance, especially if you are familiar with Cardcaptor Sakura. This is actually in a lot of ways a sequel to it. It is a sequel to it. So there's actually another manga. This is like so if you think of Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles as the A side of the tape, there's a B side of the tape called Holic. It's like XXXHOLIK, which handles Yuko the witch and like the boy that she's with, which runs parallel to this story, but it's like the opposite side. So sometimes they intersect and cross over with one another, but usually they're kind of separate, but they are all part of the same universe. It's kind of a lot. Maybe I'll make a video kind of like explaining it and streamlining all of that stuff, but I'm a huge like Tsubasa's dope. And I gotta actually start reading Tsubasa World Chronicles. But let's get to 25. You gonna be laughing today, man. Bills above, baby. 25. Yo, you ready to spoil me on this one? I did? When? When he is actually him? Yeah, my bad, Scope. I don't know. But yeah, so Bills Above is one of those things that I like because it's just hilarious. I think Olga is like I kinda like delinquent stories a lot. Olga's hilarious. Furuichi's hilarious. I think Tojo's hilarious. There's a lot of moments in this series where I'm like, bro, this is so go. Like, if you know about the tissues, you know about the tissues in Behemoth. That shit was so funny. That's one of the funniest things I ever seen. And he was mixing the strongest people in the verse. Yo, that Furuichi arc is so goated. Hilda not remembering certain stuff. I still think this has one of the best. I would say I don't want to say it's a subversion of transformations, but it has my favorite kind of. It takes the concept of transformation, Super Saiyan 1, Gear Second, all those things, and kind of flips it in a way that I thought was funny. It's called Super Milk Time. And I thought it was hilarious. I love it. I think it was a really well done. It made me laugh. It did power him up, but it came at this like really weird cost and like drawback. So yeah. Zabub spell go hard. Yep. Beelzebub Goat, one of the first manga I completed. That's what's up. When Furuichi folded, yeah, bro, it's so funny. You have to you have used the example before. It didn't bother me. Oh, so my bad. I could see myself not using it, but that's my bad though. But yeah, Furuichi went hard, man. But this does have an axed ending, so just be wary of that. It somewhat follows originally a traditional delinquent story, kind of like the new freshman got to like fight all the strong people in the school and then become the head of the school and stuff and maybe fight other schools. But there's like a demonic element to it because Olga basically just finds a baby one day and that baby's supposed to be like the next like demon king at some point. And like he's attached to the baby and the baby could give him like demonic powers and whatnot. And then you add that to it. So like it's really dope. So like I like Beelzebub a lot. And again, I think it's like if Gintama's the funniest thing that I read, Beelzebub is like right there, like second or third like funniest manga that I read. So, but it did get like a light. I think I mean it might have been a light novel it got. Maybe I made that up, but I know I got an Omake chapter, like 5 chapters when they were like stranded on an island or something. after it ended. So, but yeah, Beelzebub out. It's moving me. It's moving me to. I feel like I honestly think that we talked about this manga so much. We had like 3 streams for like 5 hours talking about Katekyo Shi Hitman Reborn. So I might not have to go like crazy talking about it, but Reborn is one of those series that I could objectively look at the contents of it and be like, it's good, it's solid. There's a lot of things I like here, but it's not the most mind blowing manga of all time. But I experienced it with like minded individuals. I had a really dope like set of friends around me where we all had different factions. I had a Mukuro guy, there's a Yamamoto guy. I was the Zanzi's Varia stan. There was a Suna guy, and we had our little battles and stuff. So like, and then we had the joke that we had. So if you guys know about the scene with Yamamoto and Genkishi, right? We used to always call it the Yamamoto face plant and make fun of him. So sometimes I'd be in high school walking through the hallway, and my friend would be like, "Yo, guess who I am?" and just run into the locker and like run into the locker and fall, and we'd all just start laughing, like it's cackling, unhinged laughter in the hallways because he ran into the goddamn wall. So we had so many jokes like that too. One manga, if you're from that era, the one manga era throwback, when that site went down and the forums got closed, a lot of us from the Reborn forum made us, I think it's called an S4 Zeta board called Katekyo Shi Hitman Reborn, and had our own Reborn forum. Harlan Phoenix, Froggy 999. I remember some of those people, bro. Like, we had some really deep conversations about it. So Reborn always had a special place in my heart. And Zanjis, I think, is one of the coolest manga characters of all time. He got guns. Kyoto Mid Vengers Could Never. Oh yeah, that's the time traveling one. There were some extra chapters. Yes, that's what it was. Reborn. Let's go in. Let's get it. Time to talk for over 6 hours. You made me reread it last year. A lot of fun. Yeah, it's not perfect. I'll never say it was, but I like it. And by the way, I know you see Roku no Mukuro in the background there. I've yet to read like a battle manga with a better illusionist from top to bottom. Hot take? Oh, well, what about Itachi? What about the Uchiha? Mukuro better. Um, 23. Jordan. Tennis no Oji-sama. Prince of Tennis. My first sports manga ever. What set me down the rabbit hole of sports. It will always have a special place in my heart. I still think the ending of this manga starts to get a little crazy a little bit, and New Prince of Tennis is just very unserious. Like, it's just so unserious. Like, I love I love New Prince of I don't love New Prince of Tennis. Like, I like to read it to laugh at how like ridiculous it's gotten. Like, I'm like, brother, if you just want to make a battle manga, why didn't you just do that? Like, this tennis, this tennis front, this tennis psyop. When you want to make a battle manga, it's not moving me. Just make them fight, bro. But yeah, this is what led me down to reading a bunch of other sports manga that I ended up enjoying more so or greatly. And for 12 to 15-year-old man, these kids talk some cash, some serious ish. And Fuji's one of the goats, man. Akaya one of the goats. Atobe one of the goats. You just gotta love it. It's just one of those things where like I wouldn't be into sports manga at all if I didn't read Prince of Tennis. It kind of started me on that path, and I really like it. I do think a lot of these matches are iconic. This one in particular, Fuji versus Akaya, was really good. I think Tezuka versus Atobe, Tezuka versus Sanada is iconic. I think what do you think Echizen's most iconic match is? I don't want to say Yukimura. That's lazy, and I actually don't like that match that much because he just had literal powers. Hmm. I guess you could say him versus his dad because dad beats his ass every day. But Ryoma is an interesting MC. He kind of doesn't lose. He's kind of like super special awesome. But when you think about the fact, I guess to some degree, that he faces his dad every day, who was ranked number one in the tennis world, and gets his ass kicked by him every single day, you could understand why he ends up being so talented. But it's a good series, man. I like it. Tezuka Zone, the Sawasuna Yoshi drip is moving you. I feel that. Yeah, Black Hole's out, man. I'll never forget when I was like I think the funniest thing about New Prince of Tennis to me is just how like, or even Prince of Tennis is just like how much they just forego like the health of the player, because I'll never forget that first match with was it whose team is it? It's Fudomine, right? And he was facing the guy who can use spot. He would change from top spin to like back spin, slice to top spin, and every once in a while your arm would like freeze and you get like spot and like you couldn't like move or do something, right? And um damn, Badger, you gonna spoil everything? I'm joking. You're good. But the what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so Iroma ends up cutting his eye a little bit and it's bleeding and it won't stop. And the umpire's like, "No, no, you can't play until you stop the bleeding. I'm stopping the match. It's over." And then I think about like maybe like 200 chapters later when like friggin' Akaya is like bleeding out of every orifice and he's literally crucified into a metal fence, and the umpire's just like 50 love. I'm like, bro, he's dying. Stop the match. When Ryoma cut his eye ever so slightly, y'all was like, "No more, we're done, we're done." I'm like, bro, that's so funny to me. So yeah. Anyways, no, you're good, Roger. I'm messing around. I'm good. You're good. So yeah, but yeah, good series, man. Ooh, a lot of people don't know about my love for. I don't know. Some people say Magi. I say Maggie. Some people. I heard Maggie. I heard Magi. I don't know at this point. I just say Maggie, the Labyrinth of Magic. I'm not gonna loosely throw in the Adventures of Sinbad Naboken in there because obviously it's like it ties into it as a side story. But this to me was intriguing off rip because it's a Japanese take, I would say, on the Arabian Nights, A Thousand Days, A Thousand Nights Arabian Nights story. And I was like, this is like a Japanese take on like jinns, but because we can say genies and whatnot. I'm like, I've never I'm always somewhat fascinated when Japan takes certain things like this and they like take their own spin on it. It's got a lot of characters in it that I really like. I like the magic system, like of like, I think it's called Ki mixed with Magoi, with the Rooks, with the divine, what are the metal vessels? What are they called? The dungeon treasures they get when they go in the dungeon and stuff. Like when they get the Jin transformations, like I think it's cold and I love it. And I like that like some people like if you get one of these, you're raw. Then you had like the like Cohen, I think he had like three, Tim had like seven. I'm like, bro, this is cold. This is cold, bro. So yeah. Fun series. Ultimate Magic, shout out Morgana, Maggie, Golden Panel, yep, Wisdom of Solomon, Alibaba the Go. I like Alibaba. Sinbad, one of the greatest. Yes, he is. Shout out to him. Sinbad the Wild Boy, Jinjin Eclipse, yes, and the Household Vessels. Household Vessels were the other, like, yes. Thank you. But yeah, like Bararaka Inkunara Saika. I said, bro, this is moving me. The anime I thought was fine and good. I like the anime. I like the openings and endings. I thought it was well done for the most part. And Aladdin kills me because like he's like 10 and he's like, yo, I'm a titty merchant, titty knight. He be rubbing his head and boobs. Now, granted, he did rub his face into some moobs once. I don't know about that one, but like I remember this one arc where he's like training to be a like better magician, and one of the instructors is like stupid busty, and every time he's like gonna give up, she would like turn and like it would like jiggle, and he would like and he would like scream like a second wind. Yo, I don't care. Aladdin's funny, bro. He used to kill me, bro. He was actually mad funny, bro. It's like I'm not. Yam sensible. There was Yam Raiha. Not it was the other girl. I think. I don't think it was her. Actually, it might be her too. But there was the girl in the armor with the pink hair at the like Magic Place Academy when he was there, like learning like the shield and shit like that. This might be after he lost his whatever, but I'm not spoiled too much in case people don't like know. But yeah, but I fuck with him though. But yeah, it's bad fun, and the fights are good and everything. So the whip girl, yes, her, like exactly what I'm thinking of. So, but this is a really good series if you haven't tried it, and also like a lot of times I say like in in like these long running like battle shonens, there's these flashbacks that happen in the later half of the series that are supposed to like tie everything in together. What's a good example? Think like I guess like ninja like in the ninja war, like learning about like the Hokages and like some of the other stuff that they did, stuff like that. And I find that it's like not that interesting. When you learn about like the let's say the kingdom, the like the an ancient kingdom that happens here and the time that it happens, I actually found it with Solomon and stuff. I've actually found it to be very, very, very interesting and perfectly placed. No, see, Turn Back the Pendulum is a really good flashback, but it's not the end of Bleach. It's more so in like the Eisen arc. But yeah. Um, no, that's a good flashback, but I was thinking more like towards the complete end of the series. But yeah, Favorite arc. Yours is the mag. Yeah, if that's what I'm thinking, the right arc that I'm thinking of when the magic school had to fight whatever. That one I like a lot. I like I like the flashback with Solomon and what was his genie called? Ugo? With Ugo and all those people and David and like Thing's mom who's like been alive for how long and stuff, that like ancient kingdom they were in. I like that one a lot. There was this one arc with the youngest son of like Cohen. I'm not Cohen. Cohen's like youngest brother, Hakuryu, and he was kind of going crazy. And his Maggie gets banished to like whatever, and Alibaba gets banished to like some like that was a crazy arc, fam. I don't remember them by name on top of my head. It's been a long time, but that arc I remember liking a lot though. So yeah, Arba. There you go. We got Oni Master Kurosawa 21. This is greatness, man. This is I know what you're reading is wild. Yes, Judar, big Judar, yes. I know what you're reading here is wild, but this series is one of those series that like ends up like not going the way you exactly think it's going to go, but it honestly does start with the premise of this one guy just like I think he goes into the women's bathroom and picks a victim in his mind and just beats his meat to them in like the girls' bathroom and basically gets caught by one of his female classmates and instead of her like outing him, she started to use him to like to get back up people she don't like. So he'd be like, "Yo, see this bitch? I don't like her. Nut in her flute." I'm like, "This is wild. This is so fucking wild." And she has him nutting on some of the craziest stuff. But there's like a paradigm shift at one point where like things come up to the open and people want to grow and be better and learn. And I'm like, it actually ends up being this pretty endearing series, all things considered. But boy, does it start off effing wild. It's hilarious though. It's not that long. Its English name is Masturbation Master Kurosawa, but I love it. It's a good series. Very well series. Still haven't read this one. Remember the series? I have to check that out. This sounds like a Steve-O series. Well said. I'm not mad at that, but it's good though. I really mean that. You're not. It's not even like a hentai. Like you're not even gonna see like cock and balls everywhere. So you good. Tasso Gade Otome X Amnesia is a kind of like ghost love story with somebody who kind of passes away and there's a boy who can like see her and I think feel her and stuff too. Like she has like physical form to some degree. And it's just like a love story between them. And it's really nothing out this world crazy. And if you don't know this, you know this now. Romance stories tend to be my favorite. And for me, if you're gonna give me romance, I need cheeks getting clapped. Okay? Don't give me no romance story where it's like, Nayaku. I'm like, oh, Groku. And we like blush and look away and we're like not doing anything. And we like hold hands and like, that's like the like, get that shit away from me. Am I blowing her back out and them cheeks are jiggling? Yes or no? That's that's what I need. This has that in there too, so I like it. I think like when you kind of get into the backstory of how like this ghost passed away, so to speak, and the tragic story and things that she's endured and whatnot, I think it kind of comes full circle. The only other ghost story I can remember, I think it's called My Ghost Girl Kana. That was pretty cute too. A ghost with like pink hair and stuff. I think it was called My Ghost Girl Kana. I read that too. One day I might go through like my anime list with you guys, or maybe I'll make an Annie list or whatever. What's the cool one now? Is the Annie list? We don't do my anime. We don't use Mal anymore, right? What are all the kids into now? What's hello fellow youth? What are you guys into these days? Y'all be using what now? Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll make one and go through a lot of the series that I visited and like read and watched and stuff like that. So yeah. But anyways, yeah. Annie list. I don't know. Whatever the youth are into. Oh, we gotta talk about Ore Tama. My balls. It's called My Balls. Oretama. I read this purely because I thought the synopsis was too ridiculous to not at least give it one chapter read. So, long story short, I don't even think it's like the devil that said, but Lucifer wants to like end the world, and there was some deal they made with like heaven and angels that like they'll be able to like take over and like destroy humanity at a certain point. So she was like out here trying to do that. So the main character is like a loser who's just a chronic like porn addicted masturbating junkie, And during like the War of the Angels and Demons, unbeknownst to him, he's taking a whiz on a tree, and like one of the angels are trying to like seal Lucifer. And long story short, she gets sealed into his ball sack instead of being sealed properly. So if he nuts, the world ends. He releases like the most powerful demon. So they have like hell bringing like succubus demons to try to like get him to nut. And like during this time, the girl that he likes starts to like F with him to some degree. So he's like going crazy. So like he like can't nut. It's actually pretty funny. Like there was nudity in this one and whatnot, but like I actually legitimately think it's a funny story, and I had a great time with it. So I recommend it. I do. It's not that long either, but yeah, I thought it was just too like I read that premise and said I can't ignore this. I must know, and I end up reading all of it in like one sitting. So yeah, top one of all premises in manga. Yeah, it's up there. This is on the same premise. No Fap the manga. Yeah. You said, what did I join to? Oh shoot. He came in. We were talking about Oretama. We're gonna go to the next one. Go to the next one. We're gonna start with this is my manga origin right here. Ranma one half. Like I told you guys earlier, I have hold on. I'm gonna get it. I can get it. Okay, maybe not that one. I have the entire thing. I have all 36 volumes. This is the first manga that I really like got into like that. Rumiko Takahashi was like my first like major mangaka. Shout out to Viz. Okay, I gotta do that after. Um Maison Ikoku was another one. Obviously there's Inuyasha. There was a Mermaid Saga and the one with Lum. Um Yatsura I can't remember what it's called. I don't remember what it's called. I just call it the Lum show. But anyways, yeah, this is just one of my favorite. Yeah, there we go. Who just said that? Yeah, this is one of my favorites because it did get me into manga greatly. It's the first one that I ever collected physically from all 36 volumes, and I thought the premise was cool. I actually think Rumiko Takahashi is it like she's one of my favorite six mangaka in general. I've read a lot of her works. Most of the stuff that she's done that I haven't read or completed are new stuff. There's that Renegon reincarnation one that I haven't really read that much of. But a lot of her older stuff I definitely read very intensively. Around my one half's general premise is that there's a spring called, if I remember correctly, it's called Junsen Koyo. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember what it's called exactly. But it's like this weird area where you can train, where there's a bunch of these little like ponds, pools, little like rivers, bodies of water, where various things. She did do Niyasha as well. Yes. Um, where like things drown. It could be like the spring of drowned duck, the spring of drowned man, the spring of drowned girl, or whatever. And if you fall and submerge yourself into that, you turn into whatever drowned there. So Ranma was training with his dad and got kicked into the pool of drowned girl. So anytime cold water touches his head, right, he transforms into a woman. Hot water reverts him back to his male form. Bonjour, mon coeur. Right. So it's just like it's like a martial arts rom com where his dad is hilarious because his dad like promised him to marry like four different people. So he has like four prior like arranged marriages that he has to like kind of get out of. So I think it's a really good read if you like to laugh a lot. I think the romance in it is solid and good. But surprisingly, the combat like is raw. Like especially when Ryoga's fighting. Ryoga is the original Zoro, by the way. He'll get lost in a one room apartment. Like he's that brain dead. Like Zoro's bad. You ain't seen nothing until you seen Ryoga. And a lot of those people have also drowned in their various pools, like drowned pig, drowned duck, drowned cat. And then there's like one very ridiculous pool. I love this because like Pantyhose Taro fell into this and it made him like a monster. But there's like this one very ridiculous one. It's like the spring of drowned ox while eating a snake while riding a horse when it with a like bird pulling on its hair and like it's like the most abomination pool and like when you come out of it you're like a monster. It was so funny, but definitely give it a shout out, man. Rumiko Takahashi, Inuyasha, Ranma, all that stuff, greatness, man. You gotta show love to the classics. we got Nando Karari because I have a BDSM fetish. I apparently I because I got like I got Sunstone over here on my shelf and everything too. But no homo, female Rama can get it. Hey man, I'm not mad at you for that. I liked not shampoo was cool. There was I can't remember. I can't. Maybe it was no. There was the girl who makes the Japanese pizzas. Damn it, I can't remember her name. It starts with like a O. Anyways, she was one of my favorites. But yeah. Oh no, I'm stupid. My favorite was always Nabiki Tendo. Nabiki Tendo is one of my favorite characters ever. She bought her paper and whatnot. So yeah. Yeah. So Nanda Kararu was great. I like stories where like characters explore some of the like what's the best way to, how best to put this? I don't say internal struggles, but like internal repressed desires through things like S&M, BDSM, whatever the case is. So basically these childhood friends, Nana and Kawaru. Nana is like a genius student, but is very stressed out by having to constantly excel at school, be extremely smart, and have to like go on to a great university. And then like Kawaru's like a loser, like this doesn't like what's a bum loser, he ugly, whatever, whatever. But they're still childhood friends. And then like one time, I can't remember. I think she comes to his house and she finds like a BDSM outfit that's in her perfect size. He did buy that knowing her measurement. She puts it on and kind of gets out of it. And he's actually like a good like I don't know what you call them, like the master in the like submissive dominant relationship, and he's like really good at it. But she actually found like getting spanked and whipped and gagged and all that stuff refreshing. That it like calmed her down and it allowed her to go to school and work on stuff. This was like a relaxer for her. It de-stressed her. And so that it kind of explores that kind of concept of these two characters, and I think it's actually a very, very, very endearing love story when it's all said and done. But there's some elite thoughts in there. There's some busty girls in that. I'm gonna keep this one brief. Ibitsu, the Okada Kozaku is kind of like another story that I'm gonna bring up um earlier. It's not a guilty pleasure manga for me. I don't hate watch I don't have guilty pleasures. I get the concept, but I like if I watch something, it's because I want to watch it. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel shame. I watch it because I enjoy it. I want to watch it. I have no guilty pleasures. Everything that I do I do it because I want to do it. So yeah, Ibitsu is just kind of like I there was a phase there was a phase in my manga career where I was very much into stories where the woman had like a relationship with a guy who was obviously like a kind of a sexual deviant, and she would like hold that over him and kind of control him in certain ways. I think another story he does this a lot better. I kind of like this is kind of like his second one that does this, but I'm gonna talk about the other. I'm gonna go more in depth into this with when I get to that in my top like six. But let's talk about Chicano Toko. Chicano Toko, if I remember correctly, is by the same person who made Oni Master Kurosara. I believe it's the same person. Um, it's been a while since I revisited it, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. But yeah, the English name for this is called, I think it's called Molester Man or Molester Train Man, something like that. It's kind of a wild title. Um, the premise of the story starts with a complete misunderstanding of somebody thinking that they're going to be assaulted on the train in Japan, and he like wasn't going to do that, but that's the like premise and situation and scenario that get these two individuals to actually interact and talk with one another. And it's actually a love story that I resonated a lot with at the time because I was kind of like going through my own like whatever like I'm always like going through some nonsense stuff like that. But I think it's just a really solid love story. I just think that I think the name of this manga is so unfortunate because just reading it, you're like I don't know about that, but it's actually really good. But the title, it just starts the scenario. The title is really more about the scenario that gets these two to be together and stuff, and then he expands his friend group and gets into her friend group, and like it's just a good story in my opinion. So, and again, it's not very long, not very long. Let's talk about Girl by the Shore. What's it called in Japanese? I think I have it here somewhere on my shelf. Might be behind though. Whatever. Asano. Is it Inio Asano? Am I getting that right? No, these are just my top. These are my top favorite manga at the time I made this list. I'm doing it now because I was supposed to do stream a long time ago. I made this list in 2022 of January, the 21st of January. If I made this list today, not much would be different, but it would be a little bit different. But these are just my favorite manga. I don't think that these are the best manga objectively, and if you don't like it, you're the worst. I'm like, I'm not into all that. I don't care about that. But these are my favorites. These are my favorites. So yeah, this one hit. Yeah, I think that Inio Asano has one bad series. I think it was Downfall. I don't think he misses on all of this. But this is another endearing kind of teenage like coming of age, kind of understanding certain things about love and relationships. A little bit there's a really wild part in here that I'm not going to talk about. But I find his visual storytelling to be quite powerful. Not to the degree that I would say like maybe at Atsushi Okubo, like that's the guy who does Fire Force, Soul Eater, not Soul Eater. I think he's one of the best visual storytellers I've ever seen on manga specifically or bottle manga specifically. But I don't think Inio really has any bad works, whether that's Solonin. Oh, here this. Look at me taking like everything off my shelf. Oh. So here this is right here. Hold on, I can't even see myself on OBS. I don't know if I'm showing this poorly. So I have it. I own it because I like it a lot too. Then you got like the Solonin one with the music. That was really good too. I greatly enjoyed that. So yeah, it's a dope story. Second favorite of his works, really. What's your favorite? Is it Oyasumi Punpun? Oyasumi Punpun might be my second or third favorite work of his. I get Oyasumi though. I get why that one resonates with a lot of people, but mine is definitely Girl by the Shore. Probably Solomon next. On any given day, I might say Oyasumi second, but I feel it. I feel it. And I think you guys might be noticing a trend here. You notice there's a lot of stories here that relate to like love and sex and like romance. Like I told you guys, I'm really like a romance merchant. Like I really like stories with love in it. Um, I don't always need it to be the literal focal point. It could be a subplot, but I really drive for this. Let's talk about my favorite sports manga, Ace of Diamondo. You saw Reborn? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yeah, so Dino Ace, man. What could I say about Dino Ace? I gotta be like straight up. High Q and Dino Ace set a new standard for me when it comes to like sports manga. Naya's three things: women, violence, and more women. Do I like violence? I feel like violence is Simi's thing. I feel like violence is Simi's thing. If you can attribute those to me if you want, but yeah. So those two set a precedent of like quality that like I don't believe. As much as I love Prince of Tennis, I believe doesn't hit it. I'm gonna say something that's gonna piss you guys a lot. I don't think Slam Dunk hits it. I don't think iShow hits it. There's another one I wanted to think. I think High Q, Dino Ace, One Outs, and stuff like that are in a tier of its own in terms of sports. I will throw Hajime no Ippo in that category. I know it's still like combat sport, so it comes across as a battle manga. At least it does to me. But Ippo was really good too. I'm not caught up in Ippo, by the way. But anyways, what I immediately appreciated about this story was that Sawamura wasn't the greatest, most ultimate guy ever. He was a pitcher with a talent that needed to be honed, and he was like the big fish in a small pond. And when he got scouted to go to Sato, he was a small fish in the ocean or a regular sized fish in the ocean. And he had to work really hard to earn his spot. And I think that this series covers a lot. Haikyuu and this. Actually, you know what? I'll give Prince of Tennis this. Prince of Tennis covered the yips really well for Tezuka's arc. Ping pong. Ping pong, the animation is really good. But it's so. I still think it's ugly. I don't know. Maybe I'll think about that one. But Ping Pong the animation is good though. I don't know if there's a manga for that. I never read it. There's a manga for it, but yeah, I thought this captured sports psychology really well. Where it's like even like when like Furia is on he's in top form and he's just pitching really well. one small thing could throw him off. Where it's like, okay, he pitched well, but like now the other team hit like a home run or something, and now he's feeling the pressure of like the score is really close. We're getting later on, and he could start to crack, and now he's losing control. His stamina is not great. Sawamura could have games where he's great and games where he's not great. Some people have injuries that they hide. I love the fact that they captured the essence of like team sports when you're competing. You're a brotherhood with a shared goal, but you're constantly competing against one another for playtime. I could be the number one batter, but let's say, clans in the chat or Mensa is working harder than me. I'm not working that hard. They've been grinding. They've been working hard. They've been outworking me every practice, and maybe for 2 games I'm not hitting that well. They could take my spot because I'm getting complacent. I love that shit. That's exactly how team sports was for me from pretty much what? When did I join my first rep team? Under 15 when I was 11. From 11, and the last time I played real competitive football was 24. So from 11 to 24. And not American football, soccer, right? And there's times where like there's players that I know, thank you for the follow, who are better than somebody else, but they're not working hard. And that guy worked his way to an opportunity to take that guy's spot, and I've seen it happen before. One of my keepers got replaced by another keeper because the other keeper outworked him in practice and all those things and drills and everything. So yeah, I think Al Ashi has the potential to reach Dino Ace. That and Blue Lock are going to get read in the same stream. I'm thinking about tackling anywhere from 14 to 16 chapters of Blue Lock and Al Ashi, because I am looking for a football manga that I really enjoy. I've had some, but I had some enjoyment with. I remember liking Giant Killing a lot and Area no Kishi, Night of the Arena. Night of the Arena got me because of the story of the brothers in the heart and what happened and the tragedy of it, and that one really got me. But yeah, he said, "Look at them blue locks. He's moved. Y'all gonna get your blue lock stream, all right? You gonna get it. You gonna get it. I promise. I mean it." I would pick this panel. I had to do it. I had to pick this panel, bro. You already know it's Golden Camel time, baby. Yeah. Noda's unhinged, bro. I don't care. You know what the biggest lie I told everybody about this series? You have that bear panel is out of context. No, it's not, bro. It's completely in context. That dude is just a wild boy, and Noda's unhinged. He just wants to draw some unhingery. But anyways, Golden Kamuy was one of the series that smacked me like a ton of bricks when I started reading it, because it captured me and it captured me so quickly. Like I was about 30 chapters in, and I'm like, this might be one of my favorite things I ever read in my life. I love the artwork. I love how they tap into like some of the history of the Russia whatever war and like the Ainu clan and the Ainu tribes. Hina, you already know it's one of my thingies. I really like that. Like when I was doing research, I found that they actually did draw proper inspiration from these things when they're like talking about the little racket shoes they make or how they like poison their arrows and stuff. There's a lot of information that you can find online that would echo that like this is historically accurate. So I love this series, man. It's really good. They said, I said, huh? Mood. Wild panel. Yep. I got to pick this back up. I got to where they head north. Yeah. And like, I have like one major gripe with the series where I think like a lot of these characters like endure extremes amount of like physical pain, duress, and mental strength and like not die. But I like that Noodle's not afraid to sexualize the men in this. Like he sexualizing the men in this too. I really like it. I like the different skill sets that everybody has, from sniper to escape artist to just like I don't die to being a physical specimen to being good with like tracking and whatnot. It's hilarious. It's wild. The trying to find the Ainu gold stuff and like the whole mystery and conundrum is really good. And I do think that this series has one of the best. I say Neo manga antagonist. I think it has one of the best new antagonist manga has delivered in a really, really, really long time. Um, and when you get some of his backstory about what he's gone through and what he's done, you're like, fam, really? Like the fact that I almost just went, I almost went right into it, but yeah, it's really good, man. So shout out to Golden Kamuy. I feel like YouTube's be like, yo, this panel's wild. Get it out of here. Let's talk about Hedakoi. Hedakoi. Hedakoi is just like a very, I guess, mature love story with this character who's known as like grandpa because he's 20, but he has a lot of like, I guess, very old school, old man traditional values and sensibilities in the way he comports and carries himself. And just a pretty adult love story. They be hanging. There's yiddies. There's cheeks. You know, it's just got up my alley. I don't particularly think it's some like some subversive love story that does something super different. I don't think so, but I like it a lot. It's really good. I think I'm gonna add that one to the reread this year. And I have to do my boy Vince proud. So if you guys see Vince, let him know that his this you guys don't know this is Vince's favorite manga. Good ending, good ending. Well, last time I checked, good ending is Vince's absolute favorite manga. So good ending, man. I think good ending. It kind of like captured the trifling natures of that women can have sometimes in a way that I thought was like pretty honest. So like I liked it. It's a good love story again. This is nothing like I don't think it's mind blowing in terms of the things that they do and explore and the drama. But the drama they have good drama though. Like I think a lot of love stories, especially when becomes like a triangle or an octagon of people being in love and whatnot. I think something that's very important is how you capture and portray the drama and the internal emotions that the characters are feeling, whether they're in public or not in public, and with their body language and stuff like that. And I think this story does it well. And honestly, true to the title, I think the ending is phenomenal. So shout to good ending. So this is actually my current manga. I always call it the top 10, like the gatekeeper, so to speak. So currently my manga gatekeeper for my top 10 is good ending. Love Out, good ending, nice romance series. Yeah, nothing again, nothing after crazy. It's good though. Boy, do I love me some Nozoki Anna. Peephole, baby. Did I ever read Hentai Kamen? Despite the name, it's not a hentai. No, I haven't. What's that about? It's actually funny you say that because like there's a couple things I brought up earlier where like the titles might be wild, like Chicano Toko, like Molester Man, or Masturbation Master Oni Master Kurosara. But like if you actually get into it, like it's really like a pretty endearing story. But all things said are done. But yeah, Peephole was so good. I wanted to like the other series that they made. I don't remember what it was called. I don't remember what it was called at all. Kimi X no Zomi, something like that. I don't remember. Kimi something. I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember right now. But this this I think sometimes what makes a love story pretty interesting is the premise you use to start it. Right? So this was literally like somebody like what like there's a hole in the wall and he like watched her like flick her bean, just go crazy on her shit, you know? Like go to town on it, and then like they would just like watch each other like do stuff like that, which evolved into some weird perverted relationship, but they also started to slowly develop feelings for one another. But there's outside like Emmy is kind of like more introverted and whatnot. I don't remember the main character's name, but he goes out, he gets played by a girl and she kind of shows him and stuff like that. And then like it's so like it's so heartwarming by the end. And like this is probably like why I'm like a hopeless romantic, and I'm like probably low key delusional about love, even though I try to be as realistic as I can be. It's because of shit like this that I be reading. But I really love Nozokiana. Honestly, I think it's great. And everything, if anything, you gonna see some elite thoughts getting their back blown out, and it's fire. It's fire, bro. I have that manga on plan to read. Hey, let's go. We in there, yes sir. Love this series. Yep. Nozokiana, let's go. People out. Hentai Kamen is a superhero parody where the main character unlocks his powers by wearing panties on his face. That premise sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. Is that an anime? Is that a manga I can read? I'm gonna try to read and watch a lot of new things this year. I want to like I don't want to pigeonhole this channel to just webtoon and Tower of God stuff, so I wanted to kind of expand. That lesbian was so funny to me. Yes, that's Arab. Oh my goodness, this is one of those series I would love to own. And I forgot to show you guys this earlier. So I walked into Chapters one day with my friend, and I couldn't believe I saw this on the shelf. I posted it on Twitter before, but I said, "Yo, we got Nozoki and on the bit." Nanato Kawari on the bit. You see this? You see this brick? I said, "There's no way I could finally own this. If I ever see Nozoki Anna on a shelf, I will impulse buy that frame one. No hesitation. No hesitation." God, that issue's good, bro. It's a manga. The Ultimate Two live action movies. Interesting. That is one thick book. The locker scene. If you know, you know. You know. You. Oh my goodness. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. By the way, if you guys never looked at the stream we did with talking about our favorite anime, you might want to check that out. I might do a solo one though myself though. But let's talk about Les Fleurs du Mal, the Flowers of Evil, Akunohana. So Les Fleurs du Mal is something that we studied. If you guys don't know, I mean, I don't know why I'm acting like you guys are all new here, but I guess I'm trying to like do the thing where like I don't want to assume everybody who watches my videos knows me and knows what I'm about. I'm from Toronto. I'm Canadian. Our two national languages here is French and English, and je suis bilingue, je parle français and anglais. And this is something, and in French immersion, this is a book that we learned about and had to like study, right? So I'm pretty familiar with the material. So in the same vein earlier, when I told you guys I was very interested, we can go through these again. I'll do like these again. I was very interested in a Japanese take on the Arabian Nights, A Thousand Days, A Thousand Nights stories with Sinbad adventures and whatnot. I was also very interested in like a Japanese take on Les Fleurs du Mal, Akunohana. So, and I was pleasantly surprised. Unfortunately, the anime with its rotoscoping didn't capture the feel and the of this. But this was also another one of those. Remember, I told you I went through a period of where I was like sexual deviant male being kind of controlled and strung along by like a headstrong woman that's also in her own way a sexual diva and a pervert in her own right. This was another one of those, and I thought it was beautiful. The fact like she thinks everyone's our fly and stuff. I think they did a good job, kind of capturing the essence and symbolism of what Les Fleurs du Mal is in their own right. Any books you're reading right now? Do you mean like novels? If it's novels, what I want to do this year is I want to reread a bunch of Brandon Sanders some Sanderson stuff. I want to do some Way of Kings, Red Rising, get back into it, and I something else I'm forgetting. There's what's the book my friend got over here? It's called. It's a New York Times bestseller. Cersei, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to say this, but yeah, like something like this. So but if you talk about this in general, what's up, Category? How you doing? How you doing? Night Eaters. I actually did do a reread of the Tangle Root Palace. I caught up in a bunch of comics that I was reading, um, but I haven't picked up any new novels, so to speak, right now, and I haven't bought any new nonfiction because I do get some nonfiction books. Like I have the Reinvention of Human History, History of Humanity, and like I actually do have Outliers. I know Malcolm Gladwell like ended up like being a fraud, but I stand by Outliers and the 10,000 hour rule helped me a lot growing up and stuff like that. I did have Blink, Tipping Point, David and Goliath, Millionaire, 12 rules. What's it? 12 rules of life, order and this chaos and disorder. I have the way of the superior man, like so a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, do I have One Piece in my top 10? Yeah, man, we gonna find out. We are number 7. So Daiwell Gelda Garuda. So remember earlier when I was talking about Blade of the Immortal, I told you guys I would kind of like circle back and talk about the sex, why I like him a lot because I think he does sex, violence, and women really well. I think this is a series where he completely leans into his strengths completely from top to bottom. I actually find this story to be quite dark, but extremely, extremely hard if you're like somebody who's highly sensitive. So if like themes of like sexual violence and things like that are hard for you, I guess trigger warning, like don't read it. But man, one of the characters of this the trio the danger of these three women, so I think it's Torine, I don't remember the other ones' names. They're all tragic characters in their own right. It's her Shinobu, I can't remember the other girl's name, but um what's it called? Wait, can you not see it on my OBS? But it's called Daiwell Gelder De Garuda Big Garuda is DIE space WER Gelder. But another name it goes by is like Begaruda. It's just like German. Like I'm not German, guys. I speak English and French. So like for you, like I could understand Spanish and Italian, but that's about it. So that's Beageruta. I think, well, at least in North America and Canada, they just call it Die Gelder. I don't know, but yeah. So check it out. So again, I think he leads into all the things that he's really good at in this story. I think the violence is incredible, and it's usually the women administering the violence. When I tell you, Torine, there's a bro, bro, the way these women are mixing niggas and they're mixing them. If you remember in Blade of the Immortal, Maki, you know how Maki would mix people with her like elegant like fighting style, bro. They be mixing. It's so raw, right? The sexual themes are actually inherently tied to and important to the overall theme and central plot to the story, where one of them went through extreme hardships in that realm, and what they're doing on this specific island is crazy. I wish I could spoil this. I have a video on my channel in my recommended playlist where I talk about this. Go watch that to get a better idea of this, because I think this is one of those things best explored. And if you just kind of go into it blind, you're like, what the hell? And there's some wild scenes in there. But this is one of this manga is incredible. I've been waiting for the third. I think the third volume might be finally out now. But yeah, the video I think is called "You Should Read Die Well Gelder," whatever. But if you go to my playlists on my channel, I'm I'm absolutely certain it's in my recommended or recommendations playlist. Like that, Dino Ace, Deadly Clash, Rat Queen, some other stuff are in there, but I'll get it. What's good, Charlie? To your body, what you doing? We talking about number seven right now? Yes. I'm gonna go to number six. Something I spoke about a lot last year as well, so I don't think I necessarily need to go into great detail of it. But you guys know this is the greatest delinquent manga of all time. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me. Yo, Badger. Thank you. See, Badger posted it. That's the video. I don't even know if this did that video do numbers. Did that eat off this video? I don't even know. Oh, not bad. I find that these recommendation videos that I do do pretty well, like long format, long term type of thing. But anyways, Crows is my favorite delinquent manga. Crows is one of my favorite mangas, and for anybody who doesn't really know me that well, what you would find, what is pretty consistent with me with anything that I read, play, or watch is the main character tends to not be somebody that I care for that much. They might be like, oh, I'm usually indifferent or don't like them. Boya Hadamichi is quite literally my favorite manga like main character of all time. Ever since I've read Crows back in like 20 like 10, 12, 13, whatever it was. No one comes close really. Like he's not my favorite manga character ever. I'll make that clear. That's Nazayoka. Or Kujiro Kurokami. But main characters as a lead, I have never enjoyed a main character more than I've enjoyed him. Actually, I'll put an asterisk on Joseph Joestar. He's like a notch under. But man, this guy reminds me of me in a lot of ways too. And if I could relate to a character, it helps me kind of like the series more because he's relatable to me in a lot of sense. He's kind of like he kind of hates the idea of like people thinking that he really deeply cares about his friends and like whatever. It's like, where's the goat, Naruto? Come on, dog. That's not here. That's nowhere here. We have Boruto over Naruto, dog. Bro, you see all those eyes they be having in Boruto, them aliens. We know Boruto clear of Naruto. I'm joking. I'm talking so much crap. I'm talking crap. I'm kidding. But yeah, so Crows is just I think it's a really good coming of age stories about like these kids are delinquents. A lot of them are delinquents, but they're not bad kids. They're lost. They want to make their mark on the world before the real world kind of eats them up. They have hearts of gold, and some people who are adults can steer them in the right directions. Incredible fights. Fights are absolutely incredible. I love the impact of like how they showcase how some people are stronger than others. I think the cast and characters and their interpersonal relationships are fantastic and very realistic and reminiscent of teenage boys growing up and whatnot. And it's a larger part of a greater universe. Now, I have a Crows video too. It's called Crows X Worse. Why you should read it. So I'm gonna plug that here too. So I'm gonna keep plugging all these videos. Definitely give that a read if you want to know exactly how I think about crows. And I have a video speaking about Boya Haramichi specifically in general about why he's my favorite manga main character. If that is interesting to you, um, do that. Maybe I'll do like a stream where I talk about like I think interesting videos that I've made that maybe kind of go down the wayside because it's not really in line with like the Tower of God content I usually make. But definitely give Crows a chance, especially if you like the Liquid stuff. Give Crows a chance. I I will not promise you it'll be your absolute favorite, but I definitely think you'll have a tremendous amount of respect for it, and you'll see where a lot of the later delinquent stuff that you like take a lot of inspiration from Crows. And I believe there's something that came out recently where the mangaka even referenced the mangaka here. So yeah, get that BS out of here. Joseph Lee the Goat. Roku Dashi Blues though I like that, but it's not my favorite. This is my favorite delinquent Yankeeism series. Mine will always be Crows. I used to put Crows and Worst on the same level, but I like Hannah. Guriko's out, but I think Crows is actually a lot better. I'm not sure if this is on your list, but did you ever read I Kiki? Why does that sound familiar? Hold on. I gotta Google that. That just sounds familiar. I, let me see. Yes, yes, I have. This is the dude where like he was like the strongest martial artist, and they like bent his bone in like every single way, shape, or form to like reduce how strong he is, and he can only use like 10% of his power. There's even a sequel after this. Yes, I read all of that shit. Damn, that's crazy. You reminded me of that. Wow. I haven't read that in so long, fam. Jesus Christ. I really am a manga fucking encyclopedia, bro. I'm really am a veteran. I've been out here. I've been doing this for so long. I tell people I know about so much manga, not because I'm a maniac who reads 1,000 manga every year. I've been reading manga since I was 4. I really like. I'm really like a veteran. I have like all time points because I've just been here for so long. That's crazy. Will I read? I tried Chainsaw Man. I don't like it. Waikiki is great. Might need to update your list. It's true. Naya forgot uh, more about manga than we will ever know. There's, you know what? Somebody reminded me the other day. Area D. I said Area D. I remember when I used to like that manga, bro. And it like I think I don't remember if it got axed or whatever, but I remember being an Area D stand. Like it's crazy how many manga and like anime you could have loved for so many years and you could forget about it. So yeah. No, not that's Area no Kishi. Area D is damn it, I didn't remember this about. I remember the dude with the hat and the little girl that like powers and shit. But the prison, they're in a prison. Yeah. There we go. And like even like Rainbow, Rainbow was something that I forgot I watched a long time too. And somebody reminded me of Witch Hunter Robin. I'm like Witch Hunter Robin. It's been quite some time. I'm an old man, so I'm a boomer. So yeah. Anyways, Crows, and now we're into like the top 5. The top 6 to me mean a lot, but we'll go into the top 5. So, what's this? You already know it's Sorachi greatness. You already know it's Katsura season. Zura janai, Katsura da. You already, bro. Gintama, I really think it's the funniest manga I've ever read. I think so. I love the anime a lot. I do like the manga better. And I've always said it just for this reason. I read, I think I read abnormally fast in my head, specifically. When when I'm reading it, the joke hits me almost immediately because I read fast. Sometimes when I'm watching it, it takes long for them to say the entire joke when they're like freaking out, right? So Gintama is actually a manga. Actually, similar to Reborn, it took me a couple of reads to kind of get it or get through it. The first time I read Gintama, I didn't really get it. Didn't really like it. Second time, I don't know. I might have been in the mood. By the time I came around the third time, I actually had an extensive amount of manga and anime under my belt. And then I realized that Sorachi is kind of a reference merchant, Easter egg merchant, pay homage merchant a lot. And so, like, I remember the first time I saw them talking about stands, I didn't get it. And by the third time I read it, I was a humongous JoJo fan. And I was like, ah. And this is one of those series where I truly believe anybody who doesn't sit through the more slice of life, daily life, just kind of like mundaneness, will never truly appreciate the series for what it is because it's going through the character building stuff and the just miscellaneous random goofy comedic adventures that make you appreciate when you hit Benizakura arc, when it's much more serious in tone and nature. When you reach like some of the more serious arcs later on in the series, Shogun Assassination and whatnot, when you're like, I appreciate this more because of the time that I spent in this world with these characters, and you cheat yourself out of that payoff if you're just like, I only want to read the serious arcs. I'm not going to skip all the comedy. It's not important. You're a loser. You're a loser. You're lazy, and you don't want to actually work hard for the reward that you that you get after experiencing something properly in its proper order. And I don't respect people who skip shit like that. I just don't. I don't care if you think I could start JoJo at part 3. You skip part 1 and 2 and you want to talk to me about JoJo, I won't talk to you about it. Read it from fucking start to finish. Go Tama, Nap Tama. You might need a niche manga list stream. That's not bad actually. That's a good idea. Gitama had me in tears. It's the funniest manga, period. I heard Gitama was good. I don't know if I should read it. Yeah, give it a shot, you know. I think it's worth a fair chance at the very least. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate with you. It is what it is. You gave Kitama 3 shots. Yeah, I've actually gave Reborn 4 shots before I got into Reborn. There's a lot of things there's a lot of things that ended up being my favorite or my favorite for a while that I had to try multiple times. You think I thought Kingdom Hearts was raw the first time I saw a goofy ass kid with big clown shoes on a beach with a wooden sword with somebody throwing beach balls at him? Then I saw Goofy and Donald Duck? You think I thought that was raw? I wasn't raw until I saw hit my cousin with a key in his hand fucking niggas up. I said, what is this? this is gas. Then I was a fan. What's up, my boy? How you doing? Exactly, 100% raw. Facts. They had a whole arc about popularity poll. What more do you want? As I'm saying, like, your time was just so funny, bro. So funny. I thought Kingdom Hearts was gonna be whack. I played Kingdom Hearts 2 and that was raw. Yeah, and Kingdom Hearts 2 is always funny when I think back on it because I like wasn't sure I was playing the right game. I'm like where's Sora? I'm like, who is this? like I wasn't sure. It was so funny though. Naya, sorry for off topic, but what do you think of Black Panther 2? I haven't seen Wakanda Forever. I haven't seen it. But I know the best line in the movie. They did not call him General or King. They call him Cool Khan. The Seped Feather Good. I haven't seen it. I haven't been interested in the MCU since Endgame. Right. This to be completely transparent. Since the Endgame, the MCU has have very, 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 very little interest to me. So I haven't. Whatever. I will watch it eventually. I'll let you know when I watch it. The latest 2 movies that I saw with my friend was Way of Water and Woman King. I'm forgetting one more thing. And the first intergalactic space Smurf. So yeah. Um I don't. JoJo's I only watch it because my friend convinced me to. That's fine. I think JoJo's is good in both forms. There's just specific things that aren't in the anime that they skip or omit that are in the manga that I appreciate. I think Araki is a brilliant visual storyteller too, and I love his art style. So I like the manga and anime a lot for different reasons and similar reasons. Personally speaking, I don't think you really can go wrong. Honestly, I also believe that like, I actually think part 5 adaptation was like the best JoJo adaptation out of all the 6 parts that they did. Where like they made part 5 a lot more enjoyable because I remember when I read it. But granted, when I read it on like someone like edited that in like paint with like his colored paper. Wasn't it. So yeah, JoJo number 1 goat facts. I saw the Kagura scene of her fight mobs and to find Katsura in Benizakura, it made me start watching Gintama. I see that's okay if that makes you like get into the series, but like I don't like people who just skip to Benizakura. So I appreciated that arc so much because I didn't see it coming. I was kind of like and the thing with me is if I'm laughing, I have a good time. Like Gintama was funny, so I just kept reading it, and then that arc kind of hit me out of nowhere. Part 4 is so goated. Part 4 is part 7 and 4 are most people's favorite part, and the part that most JoJo fans objectively think are the best. Personally, it's not. Personally, part 4 is not my favorite, but it does have one of my favorite characters in JoJo in general. Let me pull it out. Where is he? The greatest fictional mangaka of all time, Kishibe Rohan. Heaven's Door. I love Heaven's Door. I love it. It's one of the rawest stands, bro. One of the rawest stands, bro. If that's a stand I would want for real life. Like, bro, and I'm a demon, so I meet somebody. I'm like, damn, who's that? Like, just right in. She attracted to me, and nobody else. Close the book. Yeah. Anyways, um, yes, I actually used to read Grand Blue. I haven't read Grand Blue Demon in like 3 years. I caught up, like, and like haven't read it since I caught up. But there's like this one scene that me and Laz always joke about, where it's just like they're supposed to meet with one of their friends, and they're like, that asshole's having sex again, isn't he? They're like, yes, and they like want to go like burn down like this house or something like that. That's fuck. It is fucked up. But I know why I don't have powers. If I had powers, I would not be a good person. I don't know about that, but I would use it for self interest and self gain all the time. You think I want to go to the bank teller and go like go in the bank and hand me 100K right now in cash, bro? I'm doing all of that. I'm doing all the shit I shouldn't do as a stand user. Okay, I'm doing all of it. I'm sorry. It's my favorite manga, and I'm dead as like 2 years behind too. That's crazy. That happens sometimes. Like I love Dino Ace so much, and I have not finished Act 2 yet, so I totally get it. I want Star Planet as my stand. I feel that. I would probably want my own stand with my own ability that's tailored suited to me and whatnot. But I always found that like Heaven's Door has such a great real world practicality use. But yeah, good time on number 4, man. Sundome. So remember earlier I talked about Ibitsu, and I was gonna tell you about I kind of going more into like what I was talking about. So Sundome, man. Sundome special. Sundome is very special to me. Sundome, honestly, is a story that made me reflect deeply about life. I almost said mortality, and the fickleness of like human life when I was done. Like that was honestly an incredible story. It still has the kind of this is a running theme of me going through an era. Like I go through like like character arcs where like I'm interested in like I like sports manga and anime right now. Okay, now I want anime and manga with predominantly female characters and female leads. Galiodana, Puella Magica Madoka, things of that nature that I got into around that time because I just wanted to see like all female cast, so to speak, and see how they were well handled and stuff like that, right? So again, this is the era where two sexual deviants, but the boy's like obviously a little unhinged, and the girl is stringing him along, right? So yeah, now that the world's on the list, let's go. Of course, of course, of course. Yeah. So like, yeah, this is one of those stories like that, and I think it takes it to a really like crazy level. Like there's like water play, if you know what that means. If you know, you know. Um and she doesn't let him like go all the way with her and stuff. But they learn a lot about each other and their lives and things like that. And there's like this like really like powerful scene at the end that just hits you. I highly recommend Sundome. I actually think the artwork is like supposed to be this weird, sexy, but like kind of off-putting, and I think it works perfectly in tandem with the narrative it's trying to convey. So I highly recommend it. It hasn't left my top 5 since I've started reading it. So yeah, most people who say they would use their powers for good are lying. Oh yeah, yeah. It's one of those things where like you ever hear like, sorry, my throat is dry. Like when like a teacher will be like, For everybody who's like a non-POC, if you were born in the 1700s, would you oppose slavery? And they're all like, yes, I would. Like, no, the fuck you wouldn't. You see me? I just give you the raw, honest truth. You might not like it. It might be unhinged. It might not sound great, but I won't lie to you. If I had the Speed Force, bro, you know how much crime I'd commit? Again, I'm not trying to like take the world over. I'm not trying to just kill people and be a violent criminal. But if you think I am not using my powers for self gain, self interest, and my friends and family, you got me fucked up. We robbing banks. Stop it. I don't lie about this stuff. I don't pretend that I'm a good person. I'm not a good person. Madaka box. More Nisio Ishin. You guys know I'm a Nisio Ishin merchant. You know it's my goat. You know it's my goat. You know he's the great. I'm going to keep bugging you about Honkai Night every time I especially can with my sub-interest W stream. Honkai coming, dog. Thank you for the subscription, my guy. It's coming. All fiction. You already know. Yeah, talk about Misogi. All fiction. You already know. This is another great read this year. Madaka box, yes. If I wasn't Muslim, I would do messed up ish. Okay, fair enough. If you're a man of faith and of the cloth and all that kind of stuff, I get it. I think I believe in God, but I don't believe in any man-made religion. I always like think of God as more of a concept or a phenomenon or like an ethereal, like not body. Like I don't like think like man in the sky with the beard. I know like Christianity say we're made in the likeness and image of God, but I think God is more like an energy or phenomenon or something. I don't know. I don't know what I think, but I'm not religious, so I got you. Yeah, so this is another story that kind of tackles the concept of like super geniuses and whatnot. And this was one of the first stories where like it was a very self-aware manga that broke fourth wall stuff a lot. It's like I know that's very common nowadays, but when I was reading it, it's something I was really used to. Like Deadpool aside, nothing I really read, broke the fourth wall like that to the point where like the series has like a shift in genre. I think the characters are phenomenal. I think the artwork is incredible. I think the fights are super dope. I think all the arcs are great. I think the powers and abilities some of these characters have. They got elite thoughts. You can't go wrong with elite women. The women look nice and everything. And part of the reason that this manga has always been one of my favorites, aside from Nisio Ishii's brilliant writing, I truly think he's a genius writer. One day I might speak about that in great detail. I might probably already have when I talk about Monogatari all the time, but Naze Kujiro Kurokami has been my favorite manga, favorite main character in manga and anime ever since I've read this story, and it's never changed. She's still my favorite a decade plus later. My absolute all-time favorite anime and manga character comes from this narrative. So yeah. Kumagawa is one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. The Good Loser be moving me. Yep. Good Loser Kumagawa is really, really, really incredible arc. Man, all fiction is really good. Can Madaka beat Goku though? The ultimate question. Can they beat Goku? I can see her beating him honestly, so Kumagawa they can have a way to beat Goku. Okay, good to know. But yeah, it's a really good story, man. I struggle with whether or not I believe this. I don't think satire and parody are necessarily the same thing in retrospect and hindsight. Where I think that this series is like I hate saying this because it sounds pretentious. I think a lot of times it goes over people's head with the way it subverts and the way it kind of mocks and pokes fun at certain shonen jump tropes and general tropes you'd find in these type of stories. But it's so implicit, it's easy to miss. And maybe one day I should talk about it. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, Weighted Words was so good. Yep. I love this series. So, we're going to go to number 2. Number 2 is Wandering Eminon's Wandering Eminon like 1870 whatever the hell it's called. Oh man, what can I say about Wandering Eminon? I have a video on this one too, by the way. Recommendation videos. It's one of the first videos I ever made, though. So like, bear with me. Like, you could tell in a lot of my earlier videos, I wasn't that comfortable talking. I guess in the video. So like, I don't know. But anyways, this series is incredible to me. Let me just see what you guys are saying. I enjoyed the side, especially after Nakomi Nabeshima. Is Death Note in your top 30? I don't know. I was not here during the beginning. It's not, but Death Note is a very important manga to me. If this, it's extremely vital to my like growth as a manga reader because it was the first manga I read where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't need somebody. I don't have to be laughing, or I don't need to see somebody get punched through 45 buildings to have a good time. I could enjoy a good intellectual battle where there isn't a much traditional action in that sense. And that was a gateway that allowed me to try romance, sports, mecha, and all other types, not just battle shonen. So Death Note is extremely important, but I will give you this. L. Lolliot is my favorite fictional literary detective. It's not like Miss Marple, it's not Sherlock, it's not Dick Tracy, it's L. L is my favorite detective in fiction. I've also have the Los Angeles BB murder cases light novel on my shelf. Where Beyond Birthday, remember Naomi, the FBI agent that was Ray Penber's wife or whatever, or fiance. Remember the case they worked on with L? I read that case and stuff. It was really dope. So if there's any consolation, at least you know L is that nigga. Now y'all never forget the moment Ice Fire was created. That was wild. Yep. Come on, man. I have to make a nausea video. I haven't made one yet. A plus and minus. Damn, she the one. Go. I just started reading manga more this year. Like Chainsaw Man, my first manga by ever. Okay, that makes sense then. Like I could understand a manga like that resonating with you as one of your first manga ever. I try to remember. I try to remind myself that like my palette is diverse and my perspective is different because I've been reading manga for so many years. So somebody who maybe it's like fourth manga is Black Clover, I could understand why it resonates with you. For me, it's very run of the mill at this point. But for some, so I try to keep that in mind sometimes when I speak. I do my best though. So yeah, I might read JoJo Part 7 and 8. Well, as long as you read the first 6 parts first, you're good. Unless you watch them already. I think you watched them, but yeah, you'd be good. Wait, there was a Ray Penber light novel. No, it's not Ray Penber. It was his wife Naomi. Remember, she said that her and Elle worked on a case. This is actually the very first light novel I ever owned back in 2008. I remember this. I did a book project, a project on it. And guess who writes it? Nisio Isin. Yes, sir. I'm such a stan. It's called Death Note. Another Note: The Los Angeles BB Murder Cases. Give this a read. It's a phenomenal book. Absolutely recommended, especially for a Death Note fan. Definitely give that a read. Nisio Ishin also wrote something for JoJo, by the way. But anyways, Wandering Emanon. I have a video on this if you want my in-depth thoughts on it. But it's such a brilliant concept to me where it's like a being who's truly immortal. Before there was life on Earth, they were a concept. Then they were a star. Then they were a fish. Then they were like a primate. Then they were a human woman. And she kind of like goes through this reincarnation process where there usually comes a point where like she feels this like I guess a biological need to mate, and then she will mate with whatever partner she has and kind of give birth to herself, where the person she used to be that becomes like a cast off shell, and she's reborn into the new body and continuously lives for years and years and years. And I think this is one of the first series that I ever read that to me captures the kind of feeling and numbness and general kind of, I don't know, the word I'm looking for is nonchalantness that a person who lived this long would have if they were alive. I found a lot of times when I'm watching a series with like vampires and werewolves and immortals and stuff, I'm like, I don't feel like an immortal would care about so many things after living this many years. Where it's like Klaus, I mean, let's say fair. I guess it's fair, yeah. Where like Klaus, Niklaus in like Vampire Diaries will remember he's like 1,000 years plus and he's like when I was 3 my dad dropped me in the forest and hit me in the head. Nihilism's a good one. Nihilism's kind of there too. That's kind of like nothing means anything. And I'm like I just don't like I don't believe you'd be that emotional and like I could see you having emotional outbursts, but I don't think you'd be that unhinged and emotional all the time in that sense. If that makes if you get what I'm saying. And I think with a lot of the panels of her just kind of looking kind of like you said, kind of like just nothing really matters and just kind of engaging in like small talk in a funny way and whatnot. It's good. I think it's a very good visual storytelling manga as well. Sometimes there's not too many words, but you know exactly what she's thinking and feeling and whatnot. And I give it's not very long, it's not too much to read, but I think it's really cool. I would actually read my article on it on Blurs Online or watch my video to get a better thingamajig. So yeah, I'm sensitive for a guy, but I really want to but I really want to read dark manga like Berserk, Pun Pun, and other psychological manga. Um, but like, what do you mean by that when you say you're sensitive? Like, I would argue that like I think that I'm very sensitive. I'm sensitive. Like I'm light skinned. like I embody a lot of the light skin tropes. Like I think that I'm highly emotional. I think I'm very sensitive, but I just don't have the emotional regulation of a 2-year-old. You know. By the way, her name is like no name backwards. No name. Emanon. So yeah. And, when you mean sensitive, do you mean in the sense that like if you read something, even if it's fictional, with a lot of people suffering, like it bothers you, it's hard for you to get through. In that sense, it might be hard to get some of those things. But let me stop putting it off. This was made last year, January. All right, in like 4 or 5 days, it would have been a year of making this. And at the time, I definitely would have had One Piece here. Okay, 2022. We gonna have a 2023 list. As of, I don't even know if One Piece is not my favorite manga right now. I don't know. I keep going back and forth between that and JoJo. The only reason JoJo's not here, by the way, is because I do an anime and manga list every year, like top 30, and I don't cross over. So generally, I'll pick one. So like, let's because we're gonna use a wild example that's gonna make a lot of you laugh. We're gonna use Hunter x Hunter. I think the Hunter x Hunter anime is better than the manga. So if I had to choose one to put on my top 30, I would put it on the anime list. So JoJo is on my top 30 anime list though. So yeah. But anyways, we could we're gonna scroll up and kind of just go through them one more time, and then I actually want to show you my like anime one, just so you can just really quick, even though there's a video on it, just so you can kind of get it. But yeah, so One Piece at 1, Wandering Emerald at 2, Madaka Box at 3, Sundome at 4, Gintama at 5, Crows at 6, Dai Will Gelder Abegeruta at 7, Aku no Hana Le Fleur du Mal at 8, Nozoki Anna at 9, Good Ending at 10, Hetakoi 11, Golden Kamui. Look at them cheeks, man. Look at them cheeks. Golden Kamui at 12, Dino Ace at 13, A Girl by the Shore at 14, Chicano Toko at 15, Ibitsu at 16, Nana Tokowaru at 17, Ranma 1 half 18, Oretama My Balls 19, 20, Tosogare Otome X Amnesia or Amnesia, whatever. I guess you're not supposed to pronounce the X. Oni Master Kurosawa, Maggie, The Labyrinth of Magic, Prince of Tennis. Prince of Tennis at 23. 24, Katek Yoshi Hitman Reborn. 25, Beelzebub. 26, Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles. 27, Black Lagoon. 28, Tapu. 29, Blade of the Immortal. We got Mashal, Muscles and Magic at 30, and my honorable mention was the memordom of Kyoko, the Forgetful Detective. So yeah. Yes, Reservoir Chronicles. Yes, Prince of Tennis Gold, Atobe, yet not Taraku was Heat. Golden Kind with the cheeks out. You already know. They said L. It's an L for me. Fair enough. I'm not mad at that. It is an L. So let me go to the anime stuff real quick, just so you guys can get a quick look at that. Why did it turn white like that? There it is. I did do this before. Um, I think this one I did as a joint stream, but if you want to go through it real quickly, so for my top 30 anime, I have my other mention is Pretty Boy Detective. Look, man, I'm a simple guy, okay? I pick up a book, I see Nisio Ishin at the cover, I buy it. Okay? I don't think twice when it comes to Nisio Ishin, alright? That's my go. That's my hero. Pretty Boy Detective. I have 30 at Gatchaman Crowds. If you guys don't know, Ninja Science Team Gatchaman is the first anime I literally ever saw in my life. Like literally lays eyes upon. The first anime I watched, knowing it was anime, was Inuyasha. Even having watched Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Cardcaptor Sakura, Digimon. I think Digimon already. I think Pokemon, whatever. But like the first anime I knew was anime from Japan was Inuyasha. So yeah, put Naruto at 1. I'll never put it there. What's with this Naruto agenda? What's going on? So Gatchaman Crowds was like this weird, this spiritual successor that I really, really liked. If Kubera was a manga, where would I put it? I'd put it at it'd be top. It'd be in the top five. It'd probably be around one at this point, maybe. The problem is, I would say like some other series do have things I like combat and maybe some other stuff more than it. That's interesting. But I do have a webtoon list. I did a webtoon list already. If you want me to go through that after too as well. But yeah, 30 I have Gatchaman Crowd. 29 I had Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad. I have 28 The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya at 28 for my this is my anime list, by the way. Zade Goto, More Nisio Ishin, 27. I have Eve no Jikano Time of, I think the Eve of Time, I think it was called Time of Eve at 26. From the New World, Shin Yori Seikai at 25. I have the Tatami Galaxy at 24. I have at 23. I have Idia the animation, like quick little OVA there. Nana at 22. I have Gunbuster at 21. I have the arc or whatever of blue. I don't know, arpeggio of blue steel. This one really caught me off guard. I think I was gonna like this, and the movie itself was really good too. But shout out to the Flag of Feet, the Fleet of Fog of Fleet, Ergo Proxy at 19. Shout out to Real Mayor, Silver Spoon. Yeah, I think Silver Spoon is actually better than like Full Metal Alchemist and stuff. Oh no, Anaya has an opinion that most people won't agree with, and they're gonna say he's wrong. I don't care. Silver Spoon's her best work. I don't care what anyone tells me. Nagino Asakara at 17. I have Project Echo. Shout out to Simi. I own more of this. I have this at 16. Golden Time. Jeez, I love Golden Time so fucking much. Golden Time at 15. Neon Genesis Evangelion at 14. I have Ghost in the Shell, the standalone complex at 13. I believe that Ghost in the Shell, the standalone complex, is the best version of Ghost in the Shell. It's not a Rise. It's not the Scarlett Johansson movie. It's not. The first movie I'm okay with, and the manga I like a lot, but I think the standalone complex with the Laughing Man and stuff. I think it was clear. I think it was clear. Your first anime was Superbook. That's interesting. Gatchaman Goated was my first anime in form of the Battle of the Planets, but my dad put me on when I was a kid. Fair enough. Inuyasha, the '90s goat. Yep. Um, Full Metal Alchemist overrated, but I digress. Valid as fuck for Golden Time. Oh my god, hey, I got some points here. I'm trying to get in y'all good graces. Yeah, so Magica Pulla Madoka. Homura did nothing wrong, by the way. Respect Homura. She did nothing wrong. She did everything right. 12. A certain magical index. I'm actually a really big index fan. When it comes to like the Kamijo Toma and Accelerator and all those people. Like I love the series a lot. From an anime standpoint, I thought Railgun was the best because it has the sisters arc is one of my favorite arcs of all time, like top 10. So we're in my top 10 now. So obviously my gatekeeper is Katana Gatari. That's more Nisio Ishin greatness. If you guys didn't know, when there's like 12 episodes. This came out once a month, 45-minute episodes that covered like a certain story. It's so good. It's so good. My previous gatekeeper used to be Topa Tengen Gurren Lagann. This is one of my favorite like rags to riches story because when I think about them, like these niggas literally started like in the dirt, bro, in the dirt, inside the dirt, and by the end, they're throwing galaxies like ninja stars. It's so fucking raw. I don't care what anyone tells me. I love that shit. But there's one episode that broke my heart. I didn't watch it for 2 years, but I came back. Psychopaths. For number 8, specifically season 1 and the movie. I haven't seen the third season yet. I don't hate the second season as much as other people do, but I understand it's a low point. I think Makishima Shogo is one of the best new antagonists we got since like 2013. In the last 10 years, I'll say. Oh shit, Galko-chan, because I just like nonsense sometimes with the Gyaru. They're just doing a bunch of nonsense. So like I'm here for that. Hey yo, where's Naruto? But you got One Piece top one. Well, I like if you're confused, don't ever get it twisted. No matter how bad One Piece is right now, it's never been worse than Naruto at any given point. Okay, Naruto will never, ever, ever be better than One Piece under any circumstance. Not in my eyes. Not in this neck of the woods. Not while I draw breath. Okay. You can say Bleach. I'll take that better. Naruto is. I don't have any love for Naruto. None. It's gone. I have no nostalgia. None of it. I don't give a fuck about Naruto. I like Class of Ninja though. I feel it though. I'm kidding though. It's not better, dog. It's not better. Psychopaths is goated. Haven't seen Psychopaths, but the opening is gas. Typical girl again. Yeah, Gurren Lagann. If you watch Inuyashiki Ichido, I've seen that. I think that sounds familiar. Let me look it up actually. Make sure I didn't mess that up. But yeah, so I have Oshiete Gaku-chan at 7. I have Waka Kozake at 6. I have D-Frag at 5. I have Bubblegum Crisis and Bubblegum Crash at number 4. I have Dirty Pair at number 3. I had JoJo's Bizarre Adventure number 2 here. And you guys know my favorite. You guys know my favorite anime light novel is Monogatari Nisio Yushin Greatness. So yeah, that was my anime the last time I did it. This one I made in what? I made the same day actually. So that was the other one. Do I have this one? Might have messed up some of the. I think sometimes my thing messes up. But yeah, these are my favorite webtoons. If top 20, so they're looking for group honorable mention. She is Young at 20. I have Saint for Rent at 19. By the way, these are not webtoons just from Naver or Line. These are from all over the world. Saint for Rent is I don't know if things American or whatnot, but this is not like a Naver or Line webtoon thingamajig. Neither is looking for group. She is Young is it like a she Young is Korean, but anyways. Bastard I have a 18. I Roved Out, which is a it's a high fantasy pornographic like story. It's really good. I have Windbreaker at 17. I have Windbreaker at 16. I have H Mate at 15. Lookism at 14. I have Gosu at 13. Hardcore Leveling Warrior at 12. I have Unordinary at 19. I have Love Sucks for These Lonely Losers as a shout out. I have Household Affairs at 10. I have Girls of the Wilds at 9. RRBA at 8. Drug Candy at 7, Noblesse at 6. Noblesse is my first webtoon, by the way, so I have a soft spot for Noblesse. Frankenstein is one of the best webtoon characters, in my opinion. He's so raw. Purple Hyacinth is at 5. Actually, we have this higher now. Anas Amara Sumanara. Do you believe in magic? I never say it right. I have that at 4th. Romantically Apocalyptic, I have a 3rd. Tower of God 2nd, and Kubera is 1st. So, yeah. Patreon gang. Shout out to the Patreon gang. Yes, sir. Shout out to my certified BAM lovers. You know, I appreciate y'all deeply. Gotta give a big shout out to the Priest of Fire. That's the real CBL Brilliant gang. You already know what it is, but especially gotta give a huge thank you to my tier 3s, the 5th Zen Gods. Shout out to Zodiac, Sonny Katapali, Simi, Silo, Shoddy to Your Body, Scobe, Revenant, Lucky Roo, Lazy Dragon, Chris, Johnny Rogers, Jacob Holland, Irene Sharda, Fitz, Triss, and my boy Abdel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.